What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to today's live. I'm so excited to be with you guys today. All right, messy hair, don't care. We are in here. It's almost time for me to get my hair done again. You guys know me on this channel, so you already know what time it is. All right, so today I wanted to join you guys from my lovely reading area here, and I wanted to talk about, oh, my nose is a little bit shiny. I wanted to talk about some of my favorite books that I thought would be very enjoyable for you guys as well as myself to read this October. Hence, October Reads, my favorite books to read this October. That is the title. But anyway, all right. So the books are going to be, and I feel so excited to do this. I haven't done a book video in so long. I started the fall season thinking that I was gonna do books a lot, and then I kind of got distracted because I started the whole horse thing or whatever. But I'm now trying to get back to it. However, as you guys know, it's difficult for me to read. I can read, but I have like a lot of stress, and so the beautiful part of reading it, I used to enjoy the imaginative part, like you know how it's like you can almost see a book come to life. That part of me is not there anymore. I don't have that anymore. So it's kind of like I lost touch with the excitement of reading because I lost my imagination a little bit. So I'm really excited to, at least think about getting that back. Either way, I took a trip to our local library and I found some books that I thought they would be really, really exciting to read. I did not purchase any because I made a pact of myself that until I can sit down and read a book cover to cover, front to back, and actually enjoy the book, I'm not going to purchase a book. I have a book right now that I haven't, read all the way, that I started that I just can't finish. So when I finish that one, I'll move on and get another one. But for right now, we have a couple different books. I think I have about 6. There's How to Die Famous, which I thought would be a very, very satirical, funny, like a comedy type of thing with a little mystery. Publishers Weekly said, Praise for the King is Dead. And this is the best book for them. Kirkus Reviews, start the review, it said, All hail this royal debut that twists, turns, and reveals in palace intrigue and deceit. Which means there's some mystery to it, but it's like, I don't know the palace means. I was gonna say royal, regal, maybe, but I haven't read it. However, the title leaves a lot to the imagination, and I can just picture this being extremely, extremely entertaining. So I really, really like this. It's called, again, How to Die Fast. Okay. All right, the second book, this is like a science fiction book from the kids department. I love these books. This one is by Kaylin Barron, and it's called You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. Look at the fear in her face. Like she is terrified. Look at that. And that's what drew me to the book. See, I still haven't learned how to turn this camera. Bam, there it is. She has so much fear in her face. I just want to know what that's all about. I remember being a kid and getting all excited and wrapped up into books. Like I think that this is one of the books that would bring that old feeling back, like the Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys books. Yeah. The next book that I found is called A Head Full of Ghosts. This one, boom. This one kind of hits home with me, and I like the title of it, A Head Full of Ghosts. Stephen King wrote, A Head Full of Ghosts scared the living hell out of me, and I'm pretty hard to scare. All right, so yeah, I like that one. It is by Paul Tremblay. So it's good to get a review from like another writer, especially one that says that, like you did a good job on it. I think this one's gonna be good, but it hits home with me. Like I don't know if it's psychic clairvoyancy or just what it is, but I always feel like I'm just a very intuitive person. I was born January. I'm a Capricorn. I'm just a very intuitive person. So the idea of psychic communication or telepathic communication intrigues me, and A Head Full of Ghosts just really, really stood out to me when I saw it was something I wanted to read. Let's check out the prologue. Let's see what it's about. I really want to get into this one. These are all the reviews. Outstanding acclaim for A Head Full of Ghosts. Named one of the best books of 2015 by NPR, The AV Club, Toricom, and Lit Reactor. So yeah, I'm sure it's amazing, but let's see what it's about. I'll read an excerpt for you. Chapter 1, first page. This must be so difficult for you, Meredith. I have a speech impediment. Best-selling author Rachel Neville wears a perfect ball ensemble, dark blue hat to match her sensible knee-length skirt, and a beige wool jacket with buttons as large as kittens' heads. She carefully attempts to keep to the uneven walkway, and they wiggle under her feet like loose baby teeth. As a child, I used to tie strings of red dental floss around wiggly teeth to leave the floss dangling there for days and days until the tooth fell out. Marjorie would call me and tease and chase me around the house trying to pull the wax strings, and I would scream and cry, but it was fun, and because I was afraid, I would then let her pull one too. She wouldn't be able to help herself, and she'd pull them all out. See how I read? That's what I'm talking about. I don't understand any of that. And I was an English honors student in college. I attended 3 years at Santa Fe State College, which is in Florida, in the city where I live. I do not like to read anymore because of that right there. I used to read so fluently ever since elementary school. I was in 3rd grade reading Nancy Drew, The Hardy Boys. It was another one. Babysitter's Club. I used to like that. I used to like, look at me. I did not wait for people to join the live. I used to bust in and talking. But it was a couple books I used to. Laura Ingalls Wilder was the other one. I used to read all types of books in 3rd and 4th grade. Scary books, non-scary books, and American Girl books. I used to love American Girl, like all the different girls, Kate, all of them. I used to love to read American Girl books. And it's like, I've been reading so long, ever since kindergarten. And now I'm starting to have trouble, like, with my speech. So I'm going to try it again. This must be so difficult. See? You heard it? It's like I'm being rushed to speak, and I don't get it. This must be so difficult for you, Meredith. Best-selling author Rachel Neville wears a perfect fall ensemble. Dark blue hat to match her sensible knee-length skirt and a beige wool jacket, with buttons as large as a kitten's head. She carefully attempts to keep to the uneven walkway. The slate stones have pitched up, their edges peeking out of the ground, and they wiggle under her feet like loose baby teeth. As a child, I used to tie strings of red dental floss around the wiggly tooth and leave the floss dangling there for days and days until the tooth fell out. Marjorie would call me a tease and chase me around the house trying to pull the wax strings. And I would scream and cry because it was fun and because I was afraid. If I let her pull out one too, she wouldn't be able to control herself and she'd pull out all of them. Has that much time really passed since we lived here? I'm only 23, but if anyone asks, I tell them that I'm a quarter century minus 2. A century is 10 years, right? A decade is 10 years. I don't know how many years a century is. Anyway, I like watching people struggle with the math in their heads. I sat up the stones and walk across the neglected front yard, grown wild and abounded in spring and summer. Now beginning to retreat in the new cold of autumn. Leaves and weedy fingers tickle my ankles and grab at my sneakers. If Marjorie were here now, maybe she'd tell me a quick story about worms, spiders, and mice crawling underneath the decaying greenery, coming to get the young woman foolishly not keeping to the safety of the path. Rachel enters the house first. She has a key and I don't. So I hang back, peel a strip of white pin out the front door, and put it in my jeans pocket. Why shouldn't I have a souvenir? It's a souvenir that so many others have helped themselves to by the looks of the flaking door and down their front stoop. See? I think it's my teeth. I don't know. But I read to understand. Therefore, I have to be able to read it to understand it. Comprehension, it goes a long way. So if I don't flow, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. But yeah, a handful of ghosts stood out to me. And I think it's going to be about, like, a psychic teenager. Since I know she's a teenager, I think it's going to be about a psychic teenager communing with, like, ghosts and stuff like that with lots of mysteries to solve. And I'm really excited about that one. The next one is The Blue Girl. I got this one out of the science fiction, YGIJtaN, in a teen department as well. See her? I like the color blue, but I hate the color blue because people obsess over the color blue so much. And they think that just because my favorite color is blue, their favorite color has to be be blue as well. And they're always talking to me about the color blue. And it makes me hate the color blue. So I tend not to buy as much blue stuff as I would if people didn't talk to me so much about this color. You know, like pink. A lot of girls really love pink. But if you constantly talk to them about pink and everything they choose to like, you choose to like because you want to be them or you think that to be loyal to them, you have to have the same favorite color of them as them, they will stop liking it. So I hear the word blue a lot, and I don't want to talk about blue anymore. Blue is my favorite color, but I'm not obsessed with the color blue. The blue girl, black people, like those are things that I would love to read because I would love to understand. I know why I'm the way I am, but I would love to understand the perspective of the author or the character in the story. Why are they blue? Are they sad? Is their favorite color blue? Or is their skin blue? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Let's read the back. It says, 17-year-old Imogen's tough, rebellious nature has caused her more harm than good. So when her family moves to Newport, she decides to reinvent herself. She won't lose her punk thrift shop look, but she'll try to avoid the gang, work a little harder at school, and maybe even stay out of trouble for a change. But trouble shows up anyway. Imogen quickly catches the eye of Redding's bullies, as well as the school's resident teenage ghosts. Oh, so this one has ghosts in it as well. There she gets on the wrong side of a gang of malicious fairies. Wow, fairies? Y'all know I love sprites. I love sprites. So Sprites goes the color blue. Her name is Imogen, which is like Imagine, but it's Imogen, but you know, Imagine. When her old imaginary childhood friend, Pelly, actually manifests, Imogen realizes that the impossible is all too real and it's dangerous. If she wants to survive her high school, not to mention stay alive, she has to fall back on the skills she picked up in her hometown, running with the gang while running with the gang. Even with Maxine and some unexpected allies by her side, will her friends be able to make it? That's what it says. See? Comprehension for me. So even with Maxine and some unexpected allies by her side, will her new friends be able to make it? A triumphant story of friendship that will leave you feeling anything but blue. That was written by Toronto Globe and Mail. Okay, so this might be good, but I've been having trouble reading lately, and I love books. Like I said, I understand that I love books. I really love to understand. But this one touches home with me too. It has a lot of stuff that I've been dealing with, you know. So yeah, I used to be a short story writer, y'all. Believe it or not, I used to be into that type of stuff. So yeah, I like that book as well. All right, the next book that excited me is by Kaylin Barron. It's called Sleep Like Death. Have you ever heard that saying, sleep is the closest thing to death? I've heard that, and it doesn't make any sense at all to me. Sleep is not the closest thing to death, because when you're asleep, you're alive. When you're dead, you are dead. So I do not understand that, so I wanted to read this just because it says sleep like death. So how do you sleep like that? I don't want to learn, but I'm curious, like, why they would say that. Book reviews by Bridget Kimera, New York Times bestselling author of A Curse So Dark and Lonely, says that Kaylin Barron does more than rewrite a fairy tale. She breaks it apart and rebuilds it into a wholly original and captivating story. This book is like Handmaid's Tale meets Hunger Games, but with QPOC, which whatever that is. This novel is for every queer teen seeking a page turner of resistance and self-discovery. Okay, so she's homosexual. That'll be interesting. The next review by Loka says, this is it. Finally, the Cinderella story we have all been pining for has arrived. Okay. Publishers Weekly says, Barron's deconstructive reimagining of the classic fairy tale is ambitious, replacing the happily ever after with a tragic legacy and a defiant feminist tone. So this is like homosexuality defined differently. This is like Snow White's wicked stepmother here with this apple. And the first book in this series, I don't know, maybe you would want to, but I think I kind of want to read this one first. It's called Cinderella is Dead. And then read Sleep Like That. Okay. All right. So that's number 5. Number 6 is called Midnight Storm and Moon Sky, an Indigenous horror story by Alex Sue. That looks so good to me. Look at the cover of that book. Like, that is mysterious. I love that. And it looks like kids going off, like with blankets around them, walking off into the midst of the dark night. And that intrigues me as well. It's like, this book is wow. Here's a Blackfoot Indian. Okay, Blackfoot storyteller Alex Swoop plunges us into a shocking world of imagination in this collection of short stories. Midnight storm, moonless sky. From hauntings on the highway of tears to fearful gatherings of ghosts and the sorrows of racism. Soup combines the social anxieties of indigenous life with spellbinding flights and frights of speculative fiction. Through these enthralling stories of reality mixed with terror, readers get a wicked glimpse into the genre of indigenous horror. So this is going to be about Indians, and wow, this is going to be interesting, really interesting. So there's a preface here, not a prologue, a preface, and it starts this way. What's a horror story? Well, first thing, let's start with the label, shall we? It's horror, as in horrific. When I hear this word, I envision a whole whack of slasher movies, the iconic antagonistic killer kind. I grew up on slasher films, the original terrors that kicked off my eternal love for the genre. I remember visiting my family on the Blood Reserve, also known as the Kanai Nation. When I was about 5 or 6, my teenage uncle was often in charge, and rather than entertain us kids himself, he would put some old horror movies on the VHS player. I was exposed to the world of monsters and ghouls at an age when I should have been worrying about what Santa was telling me. My first real taste of the oral kind of horror storytelling was when I was sent to live with my grandparents on the Reds, as in reservation. Living with my papa and grandma was my papa's brother, Everett Soup. He was a well-known artist and political satire cartoonist, but to me he was an Uncle Bruno. One real knack he had beside his own was writing and drawing skills. Was his ability to concoct the wild. Oh, one real knack he had besides his own writing and drawing skills was his ability to concoct the wildest tales of terror. And his uncle's name is Bruno, not Bruno. It's actually Bruno, Buno. So that's not my speech impediment. You see, my grandparents just happened to live in the vicinity of one of two of the Blood Reserve's old residential schools. St. Paul. The one we lived by had been abandoned for close to 20 years and had fallen into a state of total disrepair. My friends and I would sometimes brave up and go exploring this creepy old place, risking a spanking if we were caught. So yeah, I did this on live so that you guys could chime in. I haven't got anybody, y'all. We're 17 minutes in, but I'm having fun, so I'm gonna go for it. But I did this on live so you guys could talk to me about my speech or anything that you wanted to talk to me about, because I'm here, to hang out with you guys. St. Paul's Indian Residential School was often where Uncle Bruno would go to when he needed a spooky settling for one of his spine-tingling stories. Following the telling of one of his stories, I would sit there with Bruno in the kitchen. Grandma and Papa having gone out on errands. The construction of our house stretched back to the 1930s, around the same time as the abandoned residential schools, and I'd be scared of my own wits, jumping at the slightest sound of the house creaking and groaning. The entire southwestern area of the reserve felt like one big settling for the Twilight Zone. Setting. See, I'm reading it wrong. One big setting for the Twilight Zone. I became enthralled and terrified of the paranormal world. Uncle Bruno was not the, I want to say Bruno so bad. Uncle Bruno was not the only relative on the rest to teach me the crafts of storytelling. We Blackfoot tend to be very close to our blood relations. I had numerous cousins and aunts and uncles who had a knack for giving us kids the fright of our lives as we sat around the campfire. So therefore, with so much in my young life under the spell of creepy tales of terror, it was no wonder I picked up a pen or a keyboard to dive into my own world of horror stories. Indigenous horror, that is. All right, so that's all I'm going to read is that. It just means that he grew up, I'm assuming this is going to be great because he grew up around a bunch of storytellers. And so he's telling us now that some of his stories are based in reality. Some of those are based in fiction, but they're definitely going to be horrific. So I'm interested in that. The next and very final book is called Dear Sweet Filthy World. And it has a rat on it, which is why I picked it. And he's painting. A rat is painting with a paintbrush, guys. So if you've been hanging out with me for a while, I'm a rat. It's something we've heard a lot. And I like to paint. It's something we've heard a lot too. So I'm a rat and I paint. Has me intrigued. And so I want to read about it. This book is by Caitlin R. Kiernan. And let's read the preface. Bittersweet, filthy world. If I can get through it. The dedication says, what I dread is this, that you'll be understood only by someone whose smile is helpless, by someone who's lost. What anguish to search for the right word, to lift sick eyelids, and with the lime corroded blood, gather night grasses for an alien tribe. That was written by Osip Mandelstam, January 1924. January 1st, 1924, from the outside of Wasp. All right, the first chapter is called Girl Will Smile, and I'll just do like a little bit of it because it doesn't have script. I don't know whether it's true that Eva slept with the paralytic. Probably it is. I know she slept with plenty enough men and other women. Those nights when she'd slip away from me, wrapped in a coil of cigarette smoke, perfume, and half-hearted deceit. She laughed whenever anyone dared to call her polyamorous, unless, of course, she was in one of her black moods, and then she might do something worse than laugh. I never called her polyamorous because I knew that she never loved any of them any more than she loved me. There was no armor in those trysts. I fuck around, she would say, or something like that. It doesn't need a fancy fucking Greek word for it. I didn't want to read that. It doesn't need a fancy fucking Greek word for it or a fucking flag in a pride parade. I'm a wanton. I sleep around. Then she might ask, what's got me wondering, Winter, is why don't you sleep around? She almost never used my actual name, and I never asked why she'd start calling me Winter. We met in July. After all, on a very hot day in July. We met in July after all. On a very hot day in July. But sure, she might have slept with Albert Parallax. What does that mean to me? Albert Perrault. Maybe I'm saying the word wrong. On a very hot day in July. But sure, she might have slept with Albert Perrault. She liked to call herself his disciple. I heard her call herself that on more than one occasion. She fancied herself somehow favored by him, favored beyond the bedclothes, I mean to say. It pleased her imagining herself as more to him than a mere student, as though he were some unholy prophet. Eva's very own Betsy Noir came to lead her down to places she spent her life only half imagining and never daring to dream she might one day have a glimpse at. She assumed from his paintings, from what he painted, he had glimpsed at them. She assumed he had something to show anyone besides the paintings. Eva assumed a lot of things, but don't ask. Eva assumed a lot of things, but don't ask me what he truly thought of her. I hardly ever spoke with him, and then only briefly if I did. Only it was never anything but the most superficial sorts of conversation. Our exchanges were cursory, perfunctory, slipshod, whatever slipshod is, though never exactly awkward. I don't know what he thought of her as an artist or as a lover, or if he derived some satisfaction from my suspicion about the two of them. Sometimes I wanted to warn him. I'd often wanted to warn others about Eva as well, but I never had the nerve, or I never had the heart. And besides, probably would have been like warning her rod about Salome. And likely I'd have only succeeded in appearing jealous. This disgruntled green-eyed third in I can't. All right, listen. I have only succeeded in appearing jealous. The disgruntled green-eyed third in a disconnected menage a trois, trying to jam up the works. I can see how my feelings for Eva might be misinterpreted, but I do not hate her. I love her, as I have loved her since the hot July day we met almost 5 years ago. And I know that's why I'm damned, because I cannot push away. I'm unable to push away. Even after all her lovers, after Perrault and Dahlia, and all the things she has said and done, the hideous things I've seen because of her, all that SHIT that's going to be in my head forever and ever, I still love her. I seem to have no choice whatsoever in the matter because I have certainly tried to hate her, but I have found that trying not to love her is like someone trying to wish herself well. Thinking, for example, I could simply will a gangrenous wound back to healthy pink flesh again. You cut away necrosis or you die, and I plainly lack whatever cardinal resolve is necessary to cut Ava out of me. Okay? So she says that with her free will, not with her free will, she could simply will a gangrenous wound back to healthy pink blood. So she said with her free will, she could work on it enough to make what was dead once become alive again by cutting away the dead flesh. She couldn't keep this thing that kills her out of her life called Ava. Anyway, that's a lot of words, and that's unusual. And it's about a bisexual female who's in a three-way relationship, and the girl in the middle is a slut. Someone is always a slut in a polyamorous relationship because they cannot be selfless and just love the person they're with. They have to be selfish and want everything they see. And that's the way I see it. Polyamory is selfish because my love for you should be enough. You don't need someone else as well. But to me, it sounds like she feels the same way I do. She feels like that girl has a problem. She wants to sleep with everybody. And to me, she is at a disadvantage by being with her. And I would say, I think she should just leave her out of her life. But yeah, this is the seventh and final book. Dear Sweet Filthy World. Again, midnight storm, moon and sky. Sleep like death. The blue girl. A head full of ghosts. You're not supposed to die tonight. We should have read this one. And How to Die Famous. Those are my October reads. I'm so lame. Okay, but yeah, I'm excited about those books. All right, so for the second part of the video, we're going to talk about these movies. Yay. All right, so I'm not good at picking movies. So I just picked some movies, all right? The first movie that it's October, first of all. I want to be scared to death. For every movie I watch, I want to be on the edge of my seat. I want to be screaming, hollering, biting my fingers, shaking and shivering, like, what's next? Okay? So I got scary movies. All right? The first one is called The Owners. That is a case. It says a group of friends think they found the perfect easy score, an empty house with a safe full of cash. But when the elderly couple that lives there comes home early, a deadly game of cat and mouse ensues. That means they're trying to kill the elderly people. OMG, wow. So yeah, this is gonna be good. Yeah, this is by Macy Williams, and I have absolutely never seen it before. You probably could catch it on Pluto. But yeah, that's that one. The next one is called Orphan, and I've seen commercials of this when I was younger, like middle school or whatever. Let's see what year it came out. It came out in. It did not come out in 2022. That says high school. I remember this from middle school or high school. Jeez, what? I guess it's just that I can't see. See how it is on the back at the bottom? So I can't see. But The Orphan was the next one. It says Esther's terrifying saga continues in its thrilling prequel to the original and shocking horror hit Orphan. After orchestrating a brilliant escape from an Estonian psychiatric facility, Esther travels to America by impersonating the missing daughter of a wealthy family. Yet an unexpected twist arises that pits her against a mother who will protect her family from a murderous child at any cost. Esther is a grown freaking woman. Look at that. She is old. Look. I swear I don't know how to do this yet. Look at her face. She is old. And she's playing somebody's kid. Weird. I'll watch that. All right, so the next one is called Winchester. It's by Helen Mirren. It stars maybe Helen Mirren, Jason Clarke, and Sarah Snook. Okay, so this first one stars Macy Williams, the girl on there. This one stars Helen Mirren, Jason Clarke, and Sarah Snook. All right, so whatever. Anyway, it says, inspired by true events, Winchester is set on an isolated stretch of land outside of San Francisco, where there sits the world's most haunted house, 7 stories tall with hundreds of rooms. The house has been under construction for decades, but heiress Sarah Winchester and Oscar is not building for herself, for her niece, or for the troubled doctor she has summoned. She's not building for them. Oh, okay, stop. She is not building for herself, her niece, for the troubled doctor. Listen, I'm going to do it again. But heiress Sarah Winchester is not building for herself, for her niece or for the troubled doctor she has summoned. She is building it as an asylum for hundreds of vengeful ghosts. So she's making a ghost house. Stop with this thing. I'm not doing it. It has all that other stuff. It put like the actors' names behind it. It's like I suck at reading. So I didn't want to read. She's not building for herself, Helen Mirren. She is not building for her niece, Sarah Snook, or for the troubled doctor, Jason Clark. I didn't want to read all that. Funny how I started doing it. 30 minutes. I can't believe I had not one pop in. The last couple of days, every time I did a live, I had some people talking at least. But anyway, this one is called uyGIJtaN. And the caption says, be careful what you wish for. This is from the director of Annabelle. After her father presents her with a mysterious music box, Claire Shannon is surprised to find her every wish coming true. Her joy slowly morphs into terror as she begins to realize the bloody price of each new wish. Wow. This is cute. So I don't know if I want to watch this or not. It's kind of good, but it's like I imagine it being like a Scream, and I didn't like Scream, but so I probably need to watch this first because I didn't like Scream. All right, here's another one. It's called You Might Be the Killer, which is another movie that reminds me kind of of Scream, but it has Allison Hannigan in it, the girl from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I like her. It says, You Might Be the Killer. It's the story of Sam, a regular guy who finds himself on the run from a mass serial killer that has been brutally murdering his fellow camp counselors. Scream. Desperate, Sam reaches out to his friend Chuck to obey death by his friend Chuck, who is an expert in all things horror. She becomes Sam's lifeline as he tries to evade death by avoiding common horror tropes to save his friend. But when Chuck challenges Sam with the notion that Sam herself might be the killer, Sam must race to uncover the haunting truth of the masked maniac's identity and the masked supernatural powers, all before it's too late. I am sucking at the speech thing. This is like a Scream. So if I'm doing movie night, I'm doing these two first because I don't like Scream. So I want to see what they're all about. But anyway, so those are my reads and my movie favorite for the month of October, guys. Okay, so thanks for allowing me to share this with you guys. Comment a movie projector or movie camera, a little black camera, in the comment section or the chat section of this video. If you guys watch this, some of that top chat, it is completely empty, but I'm glad I was able to film this video. I was hoping you guys would pop in. I guess I should let you guys know that I was going to stop live, but I didn't. Either way, thanks for accepting my message today. I will see you guys again tomorrow for Vlogtober, day 14.